The Pathfinder Volume 14, Develop and Implement a Successful Change Control Strategy for Your IND.
In this audiocast, managing regulatory chemistry, manufacturing, and controls changes during clinical development is crucial for drug approval, but it can also cause significant delays if not managed correctly. This audiocast provides strategies for managing regulatory CMC changes during clinical development, including planning for potential changes early on, maintaining open communication channels, prioritizing changes based on impact, using risk-based approaches, and having a contingency plan. By effectively managing regulatory CMC changes, drug development teams can minimize the impact on clinical development timelines and bring safe treatments to market faster and more efficiently.
Clinical development is a critical step in bringing life-saving treatments to patients. It is also a complex process, including complying with regulatory requirements for clinical manufacturing changes. Establishing and managing a successful CMC program is essential for drug approval, which means understanding and addressing any potential risks arising from changes during clinical development. In this article, we will look at the importance of setting up a comprehensive CMC program and what steps you should take to ensure compliance. First, it's essential to understand why regulatory bodies require changes to clinical manufacturing processes. This can be due to new compliance information about the product that was not included in the product's initial new drug application, changes in technology used during manufacture, or evidence of manufacturing issues arising from scale-up activities during clinical studies. All these factors must be considered when setting up your CMC program. Once your program is established, it's essential that you manage all necessary approvals for any changes throughout the course of the clinical trial. FDA guidelines state that companies must submit applications for these CMC changes before implementation and include documentation detailing how to ensure compliance with applicable regulations and other relevant quality standards. In addition, communication between manufacturing sites, project teams, and regulatory representatives should be thorough and transparent throughout the process. Moreover, it's important to stay abreast of new developments in the field. Studies have shown that keeping up to date on technological advancements can help organizations remain competitive within their markets by providing improved efficiencies and cost savings when implementing CMC initiatives. Additionally, ensuring regular evaluations of existing systems can help identify potential issues before they become problems requiring more costly updates or modifications down the line. Clinical development is a critical phase in the drug development process, and it involves several steps, including clinical trials and regulatory submissions. One of the most challenging aspects of clinical development is managing regulatory chemistry, manufacturing, and controls changes during the process. Regulatory CMC changes are necessary to improve drug safety, efficacy, and quality. However, they can also cause significant delays in clinical development if not managed properly. Some strategies for managing regulatory CMC changes during clinical development. Plan for potential CMC changes early on. One of the most important strategies for managing regulatory CMC changes during clinical development is to plan for potential changes early on. The drug development team should anticipate potential CMC changes that may be required during the clinical development process and plan accordingly. This means developing a robust CMC strategy that considers potential changes that may be required and how they will be managed. Keep communication channels open. Another critical strategy for managing regulatory CMC changes during clinical development is maintaining open communication channels between the drug development team and regulatory authorities. This includes keeping regulators informed about any potential CMC changes and discussing the impact of those changes on clinical development timelines. Effective communication can help to avoid misunderstandings and reduce delays. Prioritize changes based on impact. When managing regulatory CMC changes during clinical development, it is essential to prioritize changes based on their impact on drug safety, efficacy, and quality. This means focusing on changes that are critical to achieving the desired clinical outcome and minimizing changes that are not essential. Prioritizing changes can help to reduce delays and minimize the impact on clinical development timelines. Use risk-based approaches. Risk-based approaches can be an effective way to manage regulatory CMC changes during clinical development. These approaches involve assessing the potential risks associated with each change and developing mitigation strategies to address those risks. By using risk-based approaches, drug development teams can identify potential issues early on and take proactive steps to manage them. Have a contingency plan. Finally, it is essential to have a contingency plan in place for managing regulatory CMC changes during clinical development. This includes identifying potential issues that may arise and developing plans to address those issues. Having a contingency plan can help to minimize the impact of unexpected changes and reduce delays in clinical development. In conclusion, managing regulatory CMC changes during clinical development is a complex process that requires careful planning and communication. By planning for potential changes early on, maintaining open communication channels, prioritizing changes based on impact, using risk-based approaches, and having a contingency plan, drug development teams can effectively manage regulatory CMC changes and minimize the impact on clinical development timelines. To sum it up, managing CMC during clinical development requires an organized approach that meets regulatory expectations while allowing for flexibility as necessary according to changing circumstances. With careful planning and thoughtful execution of measures required by governing bodies like the FDA, companies can navigate likely challenges posed by implementing CMC programs successfully and ultimately bring safe treatments to market faster and more efficiently than ever before.
Thank you for listening to this audiocast. Are you an emerging biotech or established pharmaceutical company struggling to keep up with the ever-changing landscape of drug regulations? Look no further than IND. We are the leading consulting group helping organizations comply with drug regulations through a comprehensive drug development model incorporating augmented intelligence and data analytics. Our industry experts can guide you through the complex world of compliance, making it more manageable than ever. With our Reimagining Regulatory Pathways services, we can help you design and implement best practices to streamline your operation and ensure you stay in line with current legislation. Our range of services covers regulatory drug development's technical and strategic aspects. Let us help you develop an overall strategy that accounts for all potential risks while still being able to meet your objectives. Visit our website at incrisi.com to learn more and get started on the path to regulatory compliance success.